A lot of questions here to get through, and let's start with the first one, which is, will my ex-girlfriend come back? Well, quite honestly, Reginald, from what's been shown, she seems to have cut ties for good. There's no real sense actually here of a reconciliation. Having said that, you're not going to be exactly on your own for much longer, meaning that there will be new doors opening realistically before the middle of the summer. And this would be somebody, well, this is going to be someone brand new. It's just not going to be your ex. She seems to have a great deal of resentment towards you and seems to be blaming everything on you. So it might be helpful to take a breath, take a wee step back, and focus on what comes next for yourself. And if you'd like a full reading on the issue, you can come to me on Cassamba.com. The URL is actually on the banner. So, do we have another question? Okay, is Scott sad that I've moved on? Well, to be honest, Kelly, he's not really that interested. What's being shown here basically is he's not going to play the chase me game. He's going to continue to focus entirely on himself. And it doesn't look as if he's actually really ever going to step up and give you any of the answers that you're actually looking for. So I think, to be perfectly honest, if we're going to say whether or not the guy's sad or not, no, he's not. He's going to continue to blame everyone else for his own shortcomings, which is pretty much what he's done most of his adult life. And do we have another question? Mox the Right, in terms of the changes that have come up for you, Moxie, while you're more than a little bit insecure about it, overall here in the long term, it doesn't actually look as if you're going to be doing too badly, at least in terms of the professional changes that are coming up for you. And it looks as if there's also going to be changes in the personal sense as well for you. So if you'd like a full reading on the subject, hit me up on Cassamba.com after this session. Okay, Jeff. How you doing, Jeff? Where the ex is concerned here, it doesn't look as if she's going to break up with the new boyfriend just yet. But as I'm sure you're probably aware by this time, she has some significant issues. So it's a question here of when this particular separation happens rather than if, but it's not going to be on your timetable. And it would be certainly a good idea to be, I think, a little bit more careful about whether or not you have anything more to do with her in the personal sense. But there's a lot to this. There's a lot of different layers to this particular issue, Jeff. So if you'd like a full reading on it, come to me on Cassamba.com. Okay. Jamie Nelson. Hi, Jamie. All right. So let's have a look at this situation here with Eric and see if he's actually going to resurface. Now, to be perfectly honest, it doesn't look as if this has ended on a particularly positive note for either of you. As you might be aware, Eric is all about Eric, and he seems very much focused on the person that he's with at the moment. And it looks as if that's going to continue for the time being. As for his feelings, well, psychics aren't mind readers. That's a general misconception. That only really happens in tacky movies. But what's being shown here is that this guy is basically only interested in what benefits him. And emotionally, he's always going to be about 12. So this would be a good time to take a step back from this whole situation and basically focus on what comes next for you. And if you'd like a full reading on the subject, you can contact me on Cassamba.com, and I will be available after this Q&A is finished. So do we have another question? Oh, okay. All right. Hi, Ashley. Well, again, we can't really make your decisions for you. And there's multiple reasons for why that would be a bad idea. In terms of your career, you seem to be actually making slow but steady progress where you are at the moment in terms of the current field, even though by the look of things, it's a little pedestrian for you. I mean, you can do this job with your eyes shut. So this might be a good time to consolidate your position a little bit more and then rethink business endeavors towards the end of this summer. Because it does look as if there are positive changes coming up between now and then. So if you'd like a full reading on the subject, come see me on Cassamba.com. Okay, A. Miller. Hi, A. Miller. To be honest, your ex isn't really doing much in the way of introspection, as I'm sure you've probably realized, and seems to be very focused on what's coming next for them. While you may have some limited contact with them, it doesn't look as if this is going to lead to the kind of the committed, loving relationship that you want and deserve. And ultimately, he's going to continue to be pretty self-absorbed and childish. What I do see, though, is that there is somebody new coming into the picture for you who is going to knock your socks off. And for an in-depth reading on that, you can find me on Cassamba.com. Hey, Sue. I think I've spoken to you before. The guy that you're casually dating here, it looks as if he's got certainly potential to be more than just a casual fling. But to be perfectly honest, he's probably not going to be marrying forever. I think he's going to be pretty much a stepping stone to the next chapter that's coming up for you. Hence, at least some of your anxiety in the present and a little bit of I think it cut me off there for a second. And next question. Thumbsa. Hey, Thumbsa. What an interesting name. Okay, so looking at career here, again, as I've said before, we can't obviously make your decisions for you. That's something you have to do for yourself. It looks as if this change, while immediately isn't going to be obviously good for you, in the long term, it looks as if this is going to be a stepping stone for you to open up a lot of new doors for yourself professionally. And realistically, I think we're looking towards the end of this summer, maybe into the early fall, before you have a better idea on where you're going and how you're actually going to get there. If you'd like a full reading on this, I'm available right after this Q&A on Cassamba.com until about 9 p.m. Eastern. Oh, Ashley's back again. Hi, Ashley. So in terms... Oh, damn, I've lost the whole page. Okay, so in terms actually here of the boyfriend, doesn't look as if he's going to propose just yet. I think realistically you're looking maybe towards the end of the year for this, but it does seem as if he actually will make the effort, and this would mean here that obviously you're going to be able to give him an answer one way or the other. So if you'd like a full reading on where the relationship is going, you can come and see me on Cassamba.com. And who do we have next? Hi, Audrey. Okay, so you basically want to know if this guy is going to step up. Well, to put it simply, as long as you actually start recognizing that you're worthy of respect and worthy of affection, this guy will make a little bit more of an effort. But quite honestly, he's not going to be marrying forever. He's an individual here who's got complicated layers, both in terms of his own immaturity and arrogance. essentially not a bad person, but, a little bit of an idiot sometimes. He doesn't always see what's right at the end of his nose. And this does seem to be a very convoluted and somewhat, shall we say, codependent situation between the two of you. So if you'd like an in-depth reading on this, to get to some, answers about this guy and where you stand, come see me on Cassandra.com. Okay. Will he find peace? That's a difficult question there. Now, Christine, as I'm sure you've probably noticed, he seems to have a great deal of baggage and a lot of issues, and there's a great deal of resentment and anger here. Has this guy been treated for depression at all? Because quite honestly, it looks as if there's some pretty deep-seated issues there that need to be brought out into the open for him to resolve them. As for the long term here and in terms of being able to salvage the relationship and, quote unquote, find happiness, this is going to be a long, convoluted path with him. So if you'd like a kind of in-depth reading to really kind of get to the bottom of this and cover it all, come see me on Cassandra.com. Hi, Ava Maria. No, it's Ava Maria. I do apologize. Right, in terms of your Piscean, there won't be significant movement in terms of, starting the relationship that you want. But over the course of June to August, there will be at least some progress forward, which will give you a better idea of where you actually stand with this guy. So that would mean you'd be a little closer to having a straight answer, if that makes sense. So if you'd like an in-depth reading on this, Ava, come see me on Cassandra.com. Okay, well, let's have a wee look at this one, Marvin. And I hope you're having a better day. So in terms of the relationship, quite honestly, this hasn't exactly been progressing, it seems. And what I'm really seeing here basically is something of an emotional disconnect between the two of you. In the sense that while you're bending over backwards, you're making the effort, you're putting the work in, you're really not getting much back in return. Now, while we can, as I've said earlier, we can obviously make your decisions for you, what's been shown here basically is to rethink your position in the relationship and maybe take a step back and give yourself a little bit of a breathing space. This does seem to be a very, very convoluted situation here between the two of you. So if you'd like an in-depth reading, you can come see me on Cassandra.com. Kendra, how are you doing, Kendra? Well, modeling, of course, is not the easiest of occupations and certainly not as much fun as people make it out to be. But in terms actually here of the career itself, it looks as if you're going to start to get a little bit more in terms of regular bookings over the course of the coming year. However, this is not going to make you mind-bogglingly wealthy anytime soon. This is going to be a very slow progression for you, at least over the next couple of years. But it does look as if you will be able to get at least some paying gigs out of it. So if you'd like an in-depth reading about this and maybe look at some strategies, come see me on Cassandra.com. To be because in real terms, it doesn't look as if he's entirely on the same page. So it would be prudent to take a step back and reevaluate the situation. So if you'd like a an in-depth reading, come see me on Cassandra.com. Okay, Marvin, I think we just spoke to you a few seconds ago. As I was saying, the relationship itself, quite frankly, isn't really going anywhere, and it's not really going to develop the way you've been hoping. So, as I said, come see me on Cassandra.com, and we can really look into this for you. Okay, will he come back after the trial separation? Well, we can look at that for you. Now, as I'm sure you're probably aware by this time, he's been working up to this for quite some time. This is not just a fit of pique on his part or just a random thing. And really what's been shown here basically is you're reaching the beginnings of a new chapter in your life. But it doesn't look as if he's going to be completely a part of it. Now, this is a very convoluted and rather complex situation, just to answer with a quick overview. But I would have to say the simple answer here is probably no, he's not going to have a change of heart. But come see me on Cassandra.com and we can really look at this for you. Well, hello, Joe. It doesn't look as if he's going to change his attitude towards you. What we're looking at here basically is a complete separation here, which is not going to resume. And he's not going to leave his current situation either, codependent and rather toxic, though it undoubtedly is. But if you'd like an in-depth reading on this situation and what comes next for you, come see me on Cassandra.com. Okay, now I'm assuming this is about your relationship situation in terms of the guy the person you like. And really what's being shown just now here is that this is not going to really develop the way you've been hoping. Largely because of their baggage rather than anything you've done or said wrong. This is basically on them, if we can put it that way. So this would be a good time to take a step back, reevaluate the situation, and focus on what comes next for you in the personal sense. Because you do have new opportunities coming up. So if you'd like a in-depth reading, come see me on Cassandra.com. Okay. Well, hi, Kiki. To be honest, I'm not getting the impression that he's going to be coming back into your life as a partner. But it does look as if there may be some limited sporadic contact with him over the course of the next few months. But it won't really lead back to the intimacy and the affection that you've been really hoping for. So sorry, that's not what you wanted to hear, but come see me on Cassandra.com for an in-depth reading of what comes next. And do we have another question? Okay, will he commit to you? One of the eternal questions, Elisa. To be fair, in his own peculiar and slightly strange little way, it doesn't seem as if he's really seeing other people or playing games. It looks as if there is still an investment emotionally there between the two of you. As for a verbal commitment, that's not coming for a while yet, but it does look as if the opportunity is certainly going to be there. So if you'd like to look in depth into this situation, come see me on Cassandra.com. Okay, well, the guy at work isn't actually going to give you what you're really looking for, Jalisha. For one, he's got a lot of baggage and a few issues, and for another, he seems to have a great deal of conflict going on in his own personal life at the moment. So no, I don't feel that he's actually going to come around and give you the relationship that you really want here. But you do have other options coming up here before the end of August. So come see me for a personal reading up to Cassandra, and we will look at that for you. Okay, well, we already answered this question, Christina. It doesn't look as if the two of you are really on the same page. As for the current relationship, Claudia, you seem to be far more invested in this than he is. And a part of the issue here would seem to be a lack of communication between the two of you, and a lot of unresolved anxiety here on both sides. What Buddha refers to as the second arrow. Basically, you'll create these little stories of what could go wrong and then torment yourself with them, if that makes sense. As for this guy being in love, he seems more than a little bit self-absorbed and seems to have a huge amount of baggage from his own past. So come see me on Cassandra.com, Claudia. Hi, Kimberly. Well, the way the tarot and psychic readings works in general is that we would have like a specific question or set of questions, and that's how that really works. But if we're looking at it, in general, there isn't anything really bad coming up for you over the course of the next few months, and in fact, there are going to be positive changes before the end of the old year in terms of your personal life. And the end of the old year is October, not December. So if you'd like a kind of full reading, come see me on Cassandra.com, Kimberly. Hey, Lichigo. Or is it? No, it's Lee. I do apologize. To be perfectly honest, this separation, unfortunately, looks to be permanent and has as much to do with his own, well, his lack of ability to be a grown-up, for one thing, and his inability to really take any. At best, it looks as if there'll be a kind of uneasy truce between the two of you in terms of co-parenting, but I'm not getting the impression of much else happening beyond that point. But you do seem to have positive changes coming up elsewhere. So if you'd like to look at the situation a little bit more in depth, come see me at Cassandra.com. Okay. Well, from what's being shown here, hi KD, and thanks for your question. From what's actually being shown here, quite honestly, there will be a healthy relationship for you. And we're looking realistically towards the end of this summer. But this is not going to be your ex. This isn't this guy, John. This is going to be somebody brand spanking new and will be, for the most part, a vast improvement on what you've actually been used to. And will be as much a friendship as a relationship for you. But I don't feel as it's going to be the ex here. And this is not going to start as red hot romance to begin with. To begin with, it's going to be like a friendship, and then it would actually become a relationship. So if you'd like to look at this a little bit more in depth, come see me on Cassandra.com. Oh, awesome. Hi, Rachel. Well, in terms of your career, actually, you're making progress as it is. You're already moving forward. It's not a question of if there's progression here for you. It's very much a question of when there's going to be progress. And this would certainly be a good time to just relax a little bit and to try and let go of some of your insecurities. Because in real terms, you're already making the steps that you need to take in order to move forward. So if you'd like to look in depth on this situation, come see me on Cassandra.com. Okay, hi Anissa. So in terms of your love life here, while the last couple of years have been, well, challenging to say the least, it looks as if you're actually going to be able to move forward and start a more positive cycle here in the personal sense. This isn't happening quite as quickly as you would like, though. Realistically, we're looking towards September, October time for this new person, but it will be a huge improvement on what you've been used to. So this won't be another passive-aggressive dumpster fire, for want of a better word. So if you'd like to have an in-depth reading on this situation, come see me on Cassandra.com. Now, we can't really tackle legal issues, Alison, for obvious reasons. But to look at this in a general sense of the word, I don't feel that it's going to go as badly for you as you've been fearing. So this would be certainly a good time to touch base with your attorney and go from there in terms of your strategy. But I'm not feeling that this is going to be a complete disaster for you. So do we have another question? Well, hi, Agatha. Okay. I assume you want to know if the relationship essentially is going to resume given what seems almost like a kind of deadlock between the two of you. From what's been shown, there is going to be some progress forward, but after a separation. And that would at least give him, I suppose you could say, some perspective on perhaps his own behavior and where this relationship has been going. This is going to be a difficult situation for you to navigate. So if you'd like a live one-to-one reading on Cassandra, we can have a look at this for you. Hi, Terry. Well, sorry that your love life has been a wee bit of a disaster for you. This will be a good time to actually take a step back here from dating and relationships in general, and actually to look really quite bluntly at your own past and your own decisions in terms of relationships. While there will be a healthy, loving relationship for you, it's not going to happen just yet. So this might be a good time to just take a little break, give yourself a breather, and then look at your own kind of decisions and actions from the past, and then make your choice from there. If you'd like a live one-to-one reading on Cassandra, come see me. I'll be available right after this Q&A. Morgan. Hi, Morgan. Okay. Well, in terms of your love life here, there will be some positive changes for you, but this is the latter half of the summer. So we're looking July, August, September time for this rather than early summer. But it will be very, very different from what you've been used to. And that would be in a good way rather than a bad way for a change. So if you'd like an in-depth reading on exactly what's coming up for you romantically, come see me on Cassandra after this Q&A. Okay. Right. Well, congratulations on graduating, Lungi. If I'm pronouncing that right, tell me if I'm not. In terms of your relationship, there is potential to build a healthy future there, but it's going to require work. And it's going to require the two of you to actually step up and start, basically communicating a little bit more effectively. In terms of your career, though, you actually do have some positive changes coming up here. And this would be far closer to what you've actually been looking for in the professional sense of the word. So it's not going to be if things come together for you, both professionally and personally, but very much a question of when. And if you'd actually like to have a live reading about this and to go in depth, you can contact me on Cassamba.com. Yeah, we've already spoken. We answered this question earlier, Claudia. Hi, Sadie. I'm sorry you've gone through such a difficult period here, but unfortunately, while we don't always like it, sometimes we get a slap in the face from the universe and told, see, this is what the situation really is. Neither of these people are actually ever going to step up for you or make any apologies. So it'd be kind of pointless even asking for that. This is a time to focus on your own healing, what comes next for you, both professionally and personally. And I do feel that there will be positive changes in the sense that you will be able to get back onto your feet in the personal sense. And there will be improvements for you financially speaking. But this is going to be, as it's always been, off your own back. And this has been, unfortunately, a very, very painful learning experience for you. But if you'd like to go in depth in this situation, come and see me on Cassamba.com. Okay. Hi, Annetta. Now, there's a very divided school of thought on the whole soulmate thing. So you've got the whole pop culture, frankly, nonsense, and then you've got the stuff that actually comes from occult philosophy, which is quite different. What's preventing you from meeting the whole soulmate thing is basically there isn't really any such thing in the way it's portrayed in pop culture. So it's not like you need to improve anything or fix something that's wrong with you. You're fine just the way you are. It's just basically being clear on what you actually want to gain from a relationship and then going from there. And fun fact here, the earliest references to the whole concept of soulmates actually comes from 17th century Russian romance novels as a plot device to get the girl naked. It's only in the mid 19th century that it becomes a thing, after the various occult societies got hold of the idea and really ran with it. But to put it simply for you, you're not doing something wrong. Oh, I've lost my earbud. You're not doing something wrong, and you are actually, in fact, going to have a healthy long-term relationship coming up. And next question. Oh, that's unfortunate. Sorry to hear that, Tim. So in terms actually of your personal situation with her, it looks as if this was not a random occurrence. This is something that's been slowly bubbling and brewing for a while with her. Hence her being a little bit awkward and being really pretty short with you recently. This would be a good time to focus entirely on what comes next for you and then decide what you want to do from there. While there's likely to be at least some limited contact with her over the course of the next 3 months or so, I'm not getting the impression this is going to immediately lead back to a relationship. But if you'd like to look more in depth on this particular situation, come see me on Cassamba. Okay. Hi, Stephanie. Now, from what's actually being shown here, this guy, Christopher, seems pretty closed. I mean, he's not an open book in terms of expressing himself. And as you might be aware, he has a significant amount of baggage and some issues here from his past. To be perfectly honest, I don't feel that he's going to be unburdening himself to you in the emotional sense. But it does certainly look as if you would have at least the opportunity to talk about some of the issues. So if you'd like an in-depth reading on this, come see me on Cassandra.com. And hi, Mina. Okay, well, we can certainly look at your love life for you. But if you'd like an in-depth reading on the subject, come see me on Cassandra.com. I'm going to be here until 9 Eastern today, and I'm here every day, generally from 11 a.m. Eastern till about 11 p.m. Eastern most days. Now, while your love life has been, well, challenging over the last 5 years or so, there is going to be a new opportunity coming up for you. And this guy looks to be a little bit younger than you. Now, I don't mean he's going to be, hugely younger than you, maybe a few years, probably less than 5 in real terms. But this is going to be very, very different from what you've been used to. And he's not going to be a local guy either. So it's going to be interesting to see how this really develops for you. So if you want to really kind of look at this in depth, come see me on Cassandra.com. Well, hello, Quasim. Okay. To be perfectly honest, your ex seems to be very focused on themselves at the moment, and they are actually with someone. Now, whether or not it's the ex-partner or not actually remains to be seen, but there's definitely somebody in the picture. And I don't feel that there would be any kind of real reconciliation between the two of you. But if you'd like an in-depth reading on the subject, come see me on Cassandra.com. Oh, don't mind me, Rastus. Okay. Hi, Kwan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right for you. In terms of your relationship here with Jeff, it seems something of an improvement on what you've been used to over the last few years. And consequently, this might be a good time to just relax a little bit and enjoy the process rather than the kind of basically overthinking the situation in the way you have been. Because, he seems to be pretty consistent. He seems a big improvement on what you've had. So if you'd like an in-depth reading on this, come see me on Cassandra.com. Well, hi, Kaylee. So we can take a quick look at the relationship for you. And if you'd like an in-depth reading on the situation, come see me on Cassandra.com. Now, it seems as if there is a little bit of distance between the two of you, but a lot of this looks quite honestly, not sure why this is doing this. A lot of this seems quite honestly down to your own insecurities and your own kind of, not hang-ups, that's maybe the wrong way of putting it, but your own baggage from the past, coupled with his own immaturity and basically lack of communication. I do feel that the relationship has got potential, so you could actually make this work long term. You could actually build a positive, loving connection here. But it is going to take a little bit of time here to work on the communication and build the foundation. And in some ways, it seems as if the two of you are kind of only scratching the surface in terms of what the relationship could be. So if you'd like an in-depth reading on this particular situation, come see me on Cassandra.com. And who do we have next? Hi, Nazreen Banon. Oh, I'm probably butchering that name. I do apologize. In terms of your relationship here, it looks as if there are going to be some developments, at least having a better idea of where you're actually standing with him. But there does seem to be some underlying issues here in terms of trust and loyalty that need to be resolved. And that's probably where at least some of your insecurity is actually coming from at the moment. That and what seems like a lack of communication. So if you'd like an in-depth reading on the subject, come see me on Cassandra.com. I'm going to be here for most of the day. Okay, and who do we have next? Oh, hi, Jessica. I'm assuming you're the Jess referred to in the third party here. Now, it also depends, of course, largely on what you would describe as being right for each other. But it looks as if you could build a relationship here. The biggest issue would seem to be, well, apart from your own insecurities and his baggage, a lack of communication. And I feel that you could actually make this work, but it is going to be a slow process. So there's a lot to unpack to this situation with him. So if you'd like to come see me on Kasamba.com, we can take a good thorough look at this for you. But the short answer is I do feel that there is potential for the two of you to make it work, basically. So who do we have next? Janet. Hi, Janet. Well, let's have a wee look at the situation here for you. So in terms of the career situation, while the last couple of years have been, well, they've been difficult, both financially and in terms of your role here, around late August into early September, there is going to be the beginnings of a more positive cycle for you. And this means that there's going to be a lasting, stable foundation for you to build on in the professional sense. And this looks to be it looks to be certainly a change of direction for you professionally as well. And I do feel that this is actually going to give you the kind of the stability and the foundation that you actually require to build long term. So come see me for a full reading on this, because there's a lot to unpack there, and we should be able to give you some decent answers. Well, hi, Ethan. Okay, so again, going back to the whole twin flame soulmate thing, the occult foundations of it is what the Celts called Animakara. The exact translation of that would be soul friend or soul group. And it's only in the mid 17th century that we got hold of the idea of twin flames and soulmates. And this was used in romantic fiction. Fast forward to the early 19th century, and the wonderful Helena Blavatsky, who got hold of the idea after maybe too many bottles of vodka one night, and she really ran with it. Then the Golden Dawn got hold of the idea, then we had mass media, and now we have pop culture. So the simple answer is no, she's not. But it looks as if there would be at least some potential here for you to essentially actually build something with her. But it's going to be a convoluted and slow process simply because of her own baggage and her own issues. And of course, as you know, she's not completely free of her own past either. But come see me for an in-depth reading and we can really look at this situation together for you. How are you doing, Ray? Okay, so in terms of your ex, it doesn't look as if the two of you parted on exactly the best of terms, as I'm sure you've realized by this time. And as you may be aware, your ex actually is with somebody else. So no, I don't feel that there's going to be a reconciliation, though it does look as if you will be hearing through the grapevine what she's up to through third parties. And in the romantic sense here, towards the end of this year, there are going to be new opportunities coming up for you romantically, which are actually going to go the distance for you, which in real terms is going to lead to something concrete and permanent. So come see me on Kasamba and we can actually look at this situation in depth for you. Okay, so as we just discussed there just previously, Kwan, there is a positive future for you with Jeff. You just have to work on the communication with him, which means working to get past at least some of the anxieties that both of you have got. Because both of you seem to be carrying a little bit of baggage around from the past. Hi, Crystal. Now, in terms of your ex, there is likely to be some contact with him but it doesn't look as if this is going to lead immediately to the reconciliation that you're hoping for. There's a great deal of work to be done between now and that happening. But if you'd like to come see me for an in-depth reading, we can actually really look into this situation for you. And I'm available on Cassandra.com exclusively right after this Q&A. Okay, hi Tannen. Now, in terms of your love life here, you're going to be able to break this negative pattern that you've had with men. And to be fair, it looks as if you've been working on that for a while now and not making as much progress as you would like, but you've made more progress than you think. So the short answer is there is going to be someone certainly better than you've been used to in terms of your personal life coming in. And that's going to be, from what's been shown, it's going to be towards the end of the old year. So this will be someone brand new, and it'll be as much a friendship for you as a relationship. As for your daughter, it doesn't look as if she's going to have the same pitfalls that you've had in the personal sense. And she seems to be much more, focused on what she wants to achieve going forward. So long term, there is going to be some pretty major changes for her and for you. So if you'd like an in-depth reading on this and like a long-term forecast on the situation with your daughter, come see me on Cassandra.com. Leo. Hi, Leo. Well, in terms of your current relationship here with respect to a commitment, I think you're rather missing the point that you actually already have a commitment. Because I'm not getting the impression here actually of them messing around or seeing other people behind your back. It looks as if you actually have a firm foundation to build on. All that's really needed basically is a bit of patience and a little bit of time. And also to be kind of prepared to perhaps let go of some of the baggage of the past. And that goes for the partner as well. But come see me on Cassandra.com if you'd like an in-depth reading on the situation. Ravimbo Goer, that's an interesting name. Hi, Ravimbo. Let's have a quick look at the situation here with your ex. Now, it doesn't seem as if this is entirely ended between the two of you, but there still looks to be a lot of issues and a lot of problems that are still to be resolved here. If we're to look at this and say, would there be a reconciliation as a couple, I would have to say the odds are actually pretty slim to none, but it does look as if there would be an opportunity for at least some closure. And to kind of tie up the loose ends, so to speak. But you do have somebody brand new coming in here who is actually going to tick all the boxes for you. And realistically, we're looking, not imminently. I mean, it's not in the next few days or so, but it's definitely coming in the near future. So come see me for a one-to-one consultation on Cassandra, and we can look in depth at this situation for you, both with regard to the ex and with somebody brand new. Danny. Okay. Well, from what's been shown here, Danny, while there will definitely be a long-term relationship for you, it's not going to be your ex. That ship has long since sailed. And deep down, I think you already know that yourself. It's just a case of being prepared to look at that particular situation. You will have somebody long-term, though, and somebody who will be, I suppose you could describe someone of quality. They'll have your back, they're going to be there for you, be able to make you laugh, that kind of stuff. But it's not going to be this ex. And to be perfectly honest, I doubt you'd ever be able to trust them again anyway. But if you'd like an in-depth reading on the subject, come see me on Cassandra. I'm here actually every day. So, I mean, it's not like you can't miss me. And do we have another comment? Okay, Amanda. Hi, Amanda. So looking at this situation here, there's a lot of work to be done before this actually gets off the ground. And quite honestly, you're allowing yourselves to be bogged down by semantics of what this is and what this isn't, and what it could be, rather than actually enjoying the process itself in terms of actually building a relationship. And let's be honest, this isn't really a relationship yet. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done before you get there, but there is potential. And again, this is just a time to stop allowing yourself to overthink and be bogged down by what ifs. So if you'd like an in-depth reading on the subject with about you and Brandon, come see me on Cassamba. Okay, hi Anna. Well, the eternal question of true love is never far from people's minds, but you actually will have a serious, healthy relationship coming in. And this is going to be vastly different from the last 3 relationships of the past, meaning that this will be as much a friendship for you as a relationship. And it's certainly going to be someone who would be there for you, potentially as a husband, but obviously not on the first date because, well, hey, that would be creepy. But if you'd like to look at the situation in depth, come see me on Cassamba.com. Hi, Sasha. Well, it depends, of course, on what you would score as being something positive. But in the very near future, it looks as if you're going to be able to move past at least some of your anxieties, both professionally and where you're going as a person. So that's certainly going to help you to move forward. Now, there's a lot of swords here as well, which are sometimes called the cards of calamity or the cards of sorrow. But this would be more in the sense actually here of sometimes allowing things to get the better of you and overthinking rather than anything really bad coming. But it definitely seems as if there will be a more positive cycle ahead of you. So if you'd like to come for an in-depth live reading with me on Cassamba.com, we can certainly look at this for you in depth. So who do we have next? Okay, to be honest, the person that's coming into your life in August, Jalisha, is going to be completely new. But this guy will blow your socks off. He's going to be a huge, huge improvement on what you've been used to. But I don't feel that this is somebody that you already know. So if you'd like to come and really get an in-depth reading on this, come see me on Cassamba. Well, eventually your efforts are going to pay off, Sadie. But again, it's a time just to focus on what's to come rather than what's been, rather than constantly dwelling on the past and the situation that you've unfortunately had to go through. But come and see me, and we'll do a full reading for you on these issues, and come up with some strategies for you on Cassamba.com. So I have to say thank you very, very much to Cassamba for hosting this live Q&A session. I'm going to be available from 6 p.m. Eastern onwards till 9 p.m. and then I'll be back at 11 until midnight. So if anybody would like a live in-depth reading, come and see me on Cassamba.com. You guys have an awesome day.